What's up, YouTube? Real McCoy here. How y'all doing today? I figured it'd be a great opportunity to tell y'all about the coyote attack that no one ever heard about. So let's get started.
Boat boy. Yes!
I got the turtle doll.
All right, everybody, don't judge my intro video too much. Still working on it, but yeah, I guess to get started with it, I started trapping back in October of 2017, and the reason being was because of a bobcat that we had been getting on camera. A beautiful, beautiful bobcat. I'll put some pictures up here, and I knew that I wanted to harvest this animal, and I was thinking of ways of how I could do that without damaging its pelt or blowing it in half with a high caliber rifle, and trapping was about my only option at the time. So started watching a couple videos on how to make dirt hole sets, and I went and bought a trap from the local hardware store, Duke number 3, I believe, and went out, put it in the ground, put some bait in the hole, and waited. And sure enough, he came by the hole that night, and I missed him, unfortunately, and never saw him again. So feeling pretty discouraged about myself, and I was like, you know what, I'm done trapping. I don't, I ain't got time for it right now. So January rolls around. And I'm like, you know what? I'm getting back into trapping. I'm going to start watching videos. I'm going to learn, spend a lot of time on it before I go out and just start setting traps. And that's what I did. I spent the whole summer watching videos of the Management Advantage on YouTube on how they trapped and learning stuff and baits and techniques and different traps. And then I went and spent some good money on a bunch of different traps. Oneida Victors, Bridger number 3s, Dukes, NB 550s, all these different traps, and I ultimately stuck with the Bridger number 3 fully modified offset jaw 4-coil dogless traps. Highly recommend. They are not much needs to be done to them out of the box other than dye, wax, and an anchor and chain, and a little bit of pan tension. But so moving on from there, going into 2018, I set out my first several traps, and I caught a bobcat, and then caught a couple fox, and was doing really good. And then I noticed that I had a bad problem with coons and possums. So I went out and bought some dog-proof traps, coon daggers, and unfortunately I don't believe they make them anymore. But coon daggers are an awesome coon trap. There's several other brands that make really nice ones. But started setting traps. I was catching coons like crazy, especially around feeders, but no coyotes. And I knew that we had them, so I just kept doing what I was doing, kept trapping, and lo and behold, by the end of the year, I'd caught 2. So I felt really good about it. In 2019, I didn't get to trap any. Just didn't have time. I was too busy with work. And I'm like, the summer of 2020 rolled around. I'm like, I'm getting the traps out. I'm trapping this year. So I got all my traps out, re-dyed, waxed, checked all my chains, my anchors, made sure everything was good. All my crunch swivels were still intact. And winter rolls around. I started setting all of them. I set probably 2 or 3 dozen traps and was doing awesome. I'd caught probably 3 or 4 nice bobcat, 3 fox, 33 coon, and 8 or 9 coyotes at this time. So I was really, really happy about that. And we had a pretty cool technique of what we were doing. Me and my wife would walk the woods from my house, follow the trap line up to Dad's house, which is about a quarter mile, and we'd drive the four-wheeler back. And the next morning we'd drive the four-wheeler to his house and walk back to our house, following the trail. So that's what we do, and we'll go down on the map here in a minute, and I'll show you the trail that we would take and where this coyote was at, and we'll do that right now, actually.
All right, everybody, let's find the house here. So here we are. So me and the wife, we'd leave and we'd walk right behind the house, follow these trails that go all the way down, which would lead to several big fields, and each field would have about 2 or 3 traps set. Then we'd take this trail here, which is where I got attacked, right here. And like I said, we'd have several traps set in each field, mainly on the roads where these coyotes were walking. And, you got to put traps out. If you ain't got them, you ain't catching them. So then circle up here, and we'd be at Dad's house.
Alrighty, guys, back up top. So as you can see where he was, so this particular morning would have been November 24th on a Tuesday. And Peyton, she just didn't feel like getting up that morning. So I got up, got dressed, got my guns, and I would carry a 270 on my back in case I saw a deer, and then a 22 rifle for taking care of the coyotes or bobcat, whatever it may be. And I had laid my phone down on the couch. Forgot about it, but got out on the trap line and was walking, and I got within about 50 to 60 yards of this coyote and realized he was completely different than all the others I'd harvested this year. He was a lot bigger, seemed to be a little bit more aggressive, and surely he was. So as I got up close to him, usually all the coyotes that I had caught this year would shy away, they'd turn their head, I'd get a clean shot right through the ear, and that'd be it. Well, this one, he wouldn't break eye contact. He wouldn't let me get around him. He wouldn't let me circle back around him. Just really aggressive coyote. And basically, when you catch a coyote or a bobcat even in a trap, they will do what's called a catch circle. They will, if you double swivel your chain right, they can run around the trap without twisting up their ankles. And that's what he did. So they'll run a circle around this trap. It'll be a perfect circle of nothing but dirt or mud. And you can step right on the edge of that catch circle without getting bit. Now, if you step inside of it, even just a couple inches, he can reach you. So I knew better to stay away, obviously. And so I got up on him, and he started doing what's called a huff, which is like a low bark. It's an aggressive type call. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get that on video because I've never had one vocalized with me before. So as I'm reaching in my pocket, I realize, heck, I ain't got my phone. So I'm pulling my hand out while I hear something behind me. And about that time, as I go to turn, another coyote jumped out of the ditch and had jumped on my back. So his paws were on my butt, and I imagine he had a mouthful of jacket. I had a thick Arctic Shield jacket on. So I imagine that's what it was. Well, when he did, he pushed me several feet into the catch circle. So this coyote here grabs a hold of my inner thigh. And in shock, obviously, adrenaline's pumping, so I'm beating this coyote that had latched onto my jacket. I'm beating him with the end of my barrel. And eventually he let go and took off, and I got loose from this one, and I put him down. And got to looking and realized that blood and hair were all over the end of my barrel. So I must have stuck this coyote that had jumped on me. And, complete shock, not sure exactly what just happened, to be honest, and not sure how my leg, what condition my leg is in. So I just finish out my trap line. I had 3 or 4 traps to check, and I get to Dad's house. So I'm knocking on the door, and he answers. I'm like, I just got attacked by coyotes. He's like, no, you didn't. I'm like, yeah. So undo my pants, drop them down, and sure enough, I've got 2 big bite wounds in my leg and blood running down. I'll show some pictures up here. And just in complete shock, me and him both. You don't hear about coyote attacking humans very often, but it happened. So we run, we go get the coyote, go to my house, we take some more pictures. I'll post them, And my wife comes out, and she's in shock, she's freaking out. So I called my doctor that lived down the road, and I'm like, look, I just got bit by a coyote. What's the procedure? What should I do? She's like, hold on, let me call somebody. I'll get back in touch. So she did, and apparently they're the 2nd worst bite in the United States. So she's like, look, my clinic can't handle that. You're going to have to go to the hospital. So I call the hospital, and they're like, we can't see you till Monday, and this is Tuesday. So I'm like, all right. They're like, but we do need to warn you. It's not mandatory to take rabies shots, but if you don't and you end up having them, it's a bad deal. So basically, when they take a test sample and send it off, rabies travels so fast in the human body that by the time they would get their data back, your brain would just be mush. So they're like, you don't have to take it, but we recommend it. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm taking it, So we set up an appointment for that following Monday, and of course I go to work, and it's crazy all day telling everybody about what happened, and pretty cool to have a story, like this. But Thursday rolls around, it's Thanksgiving. I have family over, and we're all talking about it. And I'm truly grateful that Peyton hadn't been with me that morning, because if she was, and it would have jumped on her, it might have knocked her down face first in the trap circle. And I don't know what I'd have been able to do if this latched onto the back of her head or her neck. They got a pretty good bite force of 400 or 500 pounds. So I'm not sure what I would have been able to do. So I'm truly grateful, and grateful to God that didn't happen, but to me even. But Sunday night rolls around, and I end up getting pretty bad sick and realize that I had caught COVID. So my luck. So Monday morning, I go out and I call the hospital, tell them what's going on. So they're like, well, we can't put you in a regular room. We got to take you back into the ER now. So they come outside and they wrap me in a big plastic bag and run me through the lobby into the room. And this is where I find out that they don't give rabies shots in the stomach anymore. They give them directly into the bite wound and then in each arm. Well, it's been several days later. All the numbness and swelling had went down. So they come in with 2 6-inch needles and stick me in both bite wounds. which was pretty painful to be honest. And then I get a shot in each arm, and then for the next following 3 weeks, I have to go back and get 2 shots in each arm. So a total of 16 shots. Got that over with, and that's pretty much it. I had this guy in the freezer for probably 2 or 3 years before I found somebody that would finally mount him for me. My local taxidermist said that they are filthy animals and that they ruin tables and knives and everything. That's how nasty they are. So finally found a guy down towards Pearl to do it for me, and he did an amazing job. I'll get some close-up shots for y'all. But that's it. That's my story. You don't hear about coyote attacks a lot, not even on animals, house, dogs, cats even. But that's what happened, and pretty crazy. Just want to let you know you need to be safe out there, be careful, and watch your surroundings. We definitely, look out when we're trapping now, catching coyotes. We definitely watch out. But I'm not sure the story on this guy. I don't know if, he was 55 pounds. He was the biggest coyote I'd killed up to this point, or up to now. And I don't know if he was an alpha male and had one waiting, or if he had a mating pair there, or if one was just waiting on him to die off to eat on him. I'm not sure. But definitely a pretty cool story, and I want to thank y'all for watching, taking the time out of y'all's day to watch. And so y'all just like, subscribe, and y'all be safe out there. God bless. Thank you.